Have you ever suffered so much you decide to make a song about it? Yeah, so I can explain. Path of Pain is truly something straight out of a human's darkest thoughts. It's something that should never come to light, even in the worst moments. It is an experience. I was stuck in room 1, part 1, for 3 whole days, or somewhere around 7 hours. And somewhere in those 7 hours, I said,
by the end of this, I think I'm gonna make a song for Path of Pain.
It was mentioned in passing because I was so annoyed and tired looking at the same thing over and over and over and over again. I just spouted nonsense and I really didn't think about it. It was a joke, a random thing I said on stream and nothing more. However, as I was getting ready for my work, my mind empty and perfect for thinking of random things, I remembered what I said a few days before. The song for Path of Pain, or about Path of Pain, or about my suffering in Path of Pain. I've always told myself I have little to no experience in vocal production and I stay away from songs requiring vocals. It's just not intuitive. But epiphany happens, and when it does, who am I to refuse a burst of inspiration? I wrote down the lyrics, prayed that I remembered the melody because I couldn't sing it around my IRL coworkers, and let the ideas run free. And for the first time, I produced a song with vocals. Because of a stupid game.
And I commend you for your dedication. Look, it's not dedication, it's more like stubbornness. I'm only in the beginning of Path of Pain. I will come out of White Palace a new woman. As in, I will literally go insane, probably.
My workflow for any music production is basically an enigma. Depends on the situation and the mood. I can either think of a melody or vibes first, and sometimes I can get a single part of a song and work out the others. So rather than trying to explain something even I couldn't make sense of, I'll condense it into 3 parts: concept, demo, and finishing. The reason I don't divide it into lyrics, instruments, and vocals is because I jump between those. Sometimes as I'm making the instrumental, I'll think of a cool melody and edit the vocals, or when I'm recording, I feel like something isn't right, and I'll change the lyrics. And so trying to explain whatever is going on in my process that way is incredibly hard and convoluted. This way, you'll have a clear idea of the goals of each part, regardless if it's lyrics, instruments, or vocals. Number 1, concept. That's not going in the video. I want to say this part takes the longest, but if I'm honest, it's long because I procrastinate on making the demo. Yeah. The concept itself is basically just sharing my frustrations in clearing Path of Pain. The amount of mental gymnastics I have to go through in each room, repeating the same thing over and 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 over again, hoping that this one time, I've mastered the course enough to clear it and move on to the next part, only to find that it's much harder than the last and repeat the same thing again. This whole process feels insane, and I cannot fathom why I was so stubborn. I didn't want to leave until I've actually completed it, and I felt that was important, so I decided to point out in the lyrics that I'm determined, stubborn, and refuse to give up whatever this is. Today is day 4 and room 1 is a chore. Is also because of room 1. I did take some creative liberties and changed up the facts a little bit. I cleared room 1 in day 3 and not 4. But 4 is a much better rhyme. But 4 is a much better rhyme to chore and more, and it just rolls off the tongue better. Like, today is day 3 doesn't sound as nice as today is day 4. I had hoped that when I released this song, I'd already finished the path. Hence the lyrics, I've completed Path of Pain. I wanted the first chorus and the last chorus to mirror each other, and using some of the same lyrics is an attempt to that. However, I have not finished Path of Pain, and so it changed from a song about bragging into a descent to madness. That's a cool title. Okay, but let me just say I can't believe I didn't think of Symphony of Suffering before making the song. That is really cool, and I kind of wished I thought of it first. Shout out to you at I Like Legos 092. This change of storyline was why the first chorus says, I'll complete Path of Pain, and the last chorus says, I've completed Path of Pain. Because the first one is all about suffering, and the last one is all about bragging. The very first verse was initially something like, so long, my life, so long, my soul, so long, my dreams and my hope. I can't believe I still remember that. It's been 2 months. But I felt that it's too mid. It's not cool enough, and I can't really describe it, but it just doesn't feel right. So I changed it. And the current version feels like I'm telling a story and preparing myself rather than saying goodbye to my life or something, which I like a lot more. Hive Blood. Hive Blood! This part was heavily inspired by my feud with Hive Blood. I've made a short about this, but in case you haven't watched it, basically a lot of people come into my stream telling me that I need Hive Blood in order to complete Path of Pain, and I dislike being told that something is mandatory, when it clearly isn't. So as an act of extreme pettiness, I decided to never use that charm ever. And it's just so iconic, at least in my channel. It became a joke till this day, and even bleed into other games. My mods, my chat, myself included, literally jokes about Hive Blood 24/7. Of course, there's nothing wrong with the charm. If you want to use it, use it. It's not that bad. But it's just... I'm just petty. And does it make my life harder? Does not using Hive Blood make my run a lot worse than it should be? Sure, I guess. Probably. I never know because I'll never use it, but it does make for some awesome lyrics. The demo consists of mapping out the melody and doing everything else. It is a miracle of a process where I press buttons and then song. I'm not kidding, that's actually what happened. So, a little background about myself and my whole music production thing. I don't know how many people do this, but apparently using mouse and keyboard for producing music and drawing on the DAW is weird. Not like a MIDI keyboard. I have it, I barely use it nowadays because I've mastered the art of the mouse in Logic Pro, but an actual computer keyboard. No, I don't use the virtual keyboard. I actually draw the notes one by one for the whole song. I've seen like 10 people total in real life while making their music, and like all 10 of them use a MIDI keyboard. So yeah, I don't know how different I am. Maybe my friends are the weird ones and I'm the normal one, but I highly doubt it. The simple fact that every single studio has a MIDI keyboard refutes that statement. But we're not gonna talk about my insanity, or maybe we actually are, but a different kind of insanity. We're going to talk about the demo. Since I've basically thought of how it sounds in my head, all I have to do is to translate it into actual music. Of course, the song in my head is a very rough version of the rough version, but I've got the big outlines done. For example, I knew in the chorus I wanted it to be filled with whimsy and magical, and it's jumpy and easy to listen to, so I made something akin to a waltz. These are the bare bones, and I add in all the other parts after. Why did I make it sound... Okay, let's move on. My main goal for the initial sketch of the instruments is that it's built enough to record. I realized early on that my main hurdle would be the vocal production. I was right, and I wanted to record and try to produce it as soon as possible. With the bare bones of a song, putting it down in quotation marks because yes, it is bare bones to me, the verse is even just chords and a dream, I got to recording. It was something else. I knew the basics of vocal production and I know how to sing, but man, it's so different than what I thought. Simply because I couldn't cover up my non-existent experience with cool embellishments and some cool sounds as I usually do with my instruments. And also I didn't have a proper setup, so I had to make a makeshift camp at my own room and record under the covers. This sounds really funny, but I swear it works. But I am nothing if not stubborn, as shown in the lyrics and my perseverance in this literal halls of madness, and so I researched. And the release dates got delayed. In the end, I decided to re-record with the newfound knowledge that I had and got a much better result, which makes sense because the first recording was like 3 takes total and this one had like 10 takes or something insane like that. Moral of the story, if you want to record, do it a lot of times and with a lot of styles. I'm not gonna get into this abomination of a track, but what this is all the takes that I've done. I take the ones that sounds the best, put some filters and stuff, and yes, pitch correction. I just want to mention that pitch correction is so hard, and to be fair, it's not really hard, but you really need to listen to each note and correct the pitch one by one. This by far takes the longest, like the actual longest, not the longest because I procrastinated, the actual really long. It takes like what, a week? Something insane like that. It was so long. There's one track for the main vocals. And then there's some parts that has double vocals and some other parts that have multiple vocals, which means I need to pitch correct each of them. Each of them. There is an easier way. Use a plugin. I don't have the plugin.
Faridula simanet, doni poina volinet, pina sans mi manisette, dana fin sur le banc.
Before we go to finishing, I just want to show you the result before I polish and master the song. I'll complete this path of pain. I think I will go insane. I suck at parkour, face bent on the thorns. I somehow do speed but skips. I'm determined, stubborn still. I refuse to give up this. Today is day 4. Room 1 is a chore. Repeat the run once more. This already sounds good, and I actually stayed in this version for about a week before deciding what needs to change. Number 1, the piano for the verse needs to get good, for lack of better word. Number 2 is less likely to be detected by the untrained ear because the song is so stacked on top of each other. And the last one is that it doesn't sound as sharp. Pianos are obvious, rearrange the verse and then it's good. Number 2 and number 3 is a bit harder. To explain what I mean by stacked on top of each other, imagine a fan. No, not this fan. Not this fan either. This fan. This whole thing is the space that the instruments and everything is played. This is the right side and this is the left side. This demo sounds like this. Every instrument in the middle, there is no separation and they're all muddled and muddy. It doesn't sound bad, but it is not great. And so comes the process of mixing, which is solving number 2 and number 3. I know some people mix as they go, and I do too, but I like to remix everything again in the end, just so they sound better. I don't know, it's just how I work. My main concern is widening the sound, placing the bass on both ends, which I don't know, that's just what I like to do, and then letting each instrument have their own space in this large, not really large fan, and keeping the vocals in the middle. This process not only widens the song, it also lets the little bits and parts that is not the most prominent get highlighted without having to raise the gain or volume in layman's terms, because doing that, raising the volume, will make the instruments go on a competition of who can be heard the most at any given time. That is not great because instruments should work together, not compete against each other. The sharpening of each sound is also just using the equalizer. This process is very technical but also not really technical, and I have a really hard time explaining it without making this video be like 3 hours long. It's very convoluted. Well, not really, it's really intuitive. It's hard to explain, but basically by the end of everything it sounds nice. That's the most important part. And after like 3-4 whole months of being delayed 3 times or something insane like that, and getting stuck with pitch correction and looking at random bars on the screen of my computer, it is finally done. I have finished the song. Anyway, it is time for my marketing voice to come out. If you want to listen to Descent to Madness at any given time, it's available on Spotify, Apple Music, and other streaming services. Go listen to it, it's awesome. Anyway, I'm very proud of the song. It's not perfect yet, but I've worked hard on it and it turned out amazing. I'm planning on making more songs like this, so go ahead and subscribe. I'm really becoming a YouTuber. And comment your favorite or most memorable part of Hollow Knight. If you're interested in my suffering, you can tune into this playlist or check me out on Twitch and see me mold and get angry live. And without further ado, this is Descend to Madness. Enjoy! The time has come for me to go achieve. That is so bad. The time has come for me to go achieve impossible goals. I see the end, the bragging rights, the pride and all the gold. But every hour takes a toll, every jump and every fall. Try and fail and try again, conquer the game. I'll complete this path of pain. I think I will go insane. I suck at parkour, face plant on the thorns. I somehow do speed bump skips. I'm determined, stubborn still. I refuse to give up this. Today is day 4, room 1 is a chore. Repeat the run once more. Please don't tell me to use the charm that I refuse. I thought we'll not make this easier. It won't help my skill issue. I'm very prideful and stubborn. I'll do things my way. So don't tell me what to do. I will not listen to you. I'm just a heartbound. I'll stay here for months. I'll prove it to you that I can. I'll preserve without excuse. This fight I will not lose. Trauma I've unlocked, the spikes and the sauce, they'll be in my nightmares. I've completed